Hello, English 408. It's me. I'm back again. Today we're going to talk about Caroline's poems mm, and do some writing. I hope everybody's doing okay. Um, we're getting by here. Not much really changed and just hunkered down like everybody else, I assume. First poem we're going to look at is a poem by Robert Bly called The Resemblance Between Your Life and the Dog. That is on page 744. So why don't we go ahead and check that out, people? 744. Um, Robert Bly. Oh man, the resemblance between your life and the dog. Um, Here we go. I'll just read this and then we'll talk about it a little. The resemblance between your life and the dog. I never intended to have this life. Believe me, it just happened. You know how a dog turns up at a farm and they wag but can't explain? It's good if you can accept your life. You'll notice your face has become deranged trying to adjust to it. Your face thought your life would look like your bedroom mirror when you were 10. That was a clear river touched by mountain wind. Even your parents can't believe how much you've changed. Sparrows in winter, if you've ever held one, all feather, burst out of your hands with a fiery glee. You see them later in hedges. Teachers praise you, but you can't quite get back to the winter sparrow. Your life is a dog. He's been hungry for miles, doesn't particularly like you, but gives up and comes in. Okay, I really enjoy that poem. Let's see here what Caroline has to say about it. She says, it may be just me, I doubt it, but I find what is detailed in the poem to be relatable and something I experience often. I feel like this poem is a lot about not living life to its fullest and just going through life because you were given one, especially as one grows older, because life just isn't how you imagined it would be when you were younger, right? Life throws a lot at us, and it's how we deal with it that makes it like the dog or not. If you aren't willing to experience it, it is just going to stick with you because it has to and feel like a burden. Because it has to and feel like a burden. Okay. Right. I like this idea, Caroline. Um, Life throws a lot at us, and how we deal with it, that makes it like the dog or not. If you aren't willing to experience it, it is just going to stick with you because it has to and feel like a burden. Okay, right. So maybe life is like that dog, right? That just sticks with you, even though you don't want it hanging around, and it feels like a burden instead of feeling like a beautiful thing that you get to be a part of and take care of. I think about this sometimes with children who treat their children sort of not well, and like, children not a burden should be a joy in life, not something that sort of brings you down. And likewise here, life should hopefully be something that is better than just a dog that won't leave. So I like that idea. A couple of things I want to point out in this poem that I really enjoy. I never intended to have this life. Believe me, it just happened. And of course, we all know how this is, right? We didn't intend for this. We just find ourselves here. You know how a dog turns up at a farm and they wag but they can't explain? Okay, so that's like us, right? Life happens, like a dog happens, and you don't know where it came from. You don't know what its history is or where it's going. It's good if you can accept it, your life. You'll notice your face has become deranged trying to adjust to it, which I like, right? As we're aging, and to me, this seems like he's saying, "Hey, watch our faces derange as we get older, trying to adjust to what is happening in front of us." Uh, your face thought your life would look like your bedroom mirror when you were 10, right? That was a clear river touched by mountain wind. And I guess here I'm thinking of the idea that those dreams and those ideas that you have when you're a kid seem so pure and earnest, and they stick with you deep down in your soul forever because they're a clear river, touched by mountain wind. Even your parents can't believe how much you've changed, right? You grow and change. Sparrows, if you've held one, they're all feather. They burst out of your hand. You see them later in hedges. Teachers praise you. Oh, my God. But you can't quite get back to the winter sparrow, right? So, the beautiful thing of the wild sparrow in winter is different than the teachers who praise you. That's a different sort of thing. Your life is a dog. He's been hungry for miles, doesn't particularly like you, but gives up and comes in. Which, again, might be a sort of pessimistic way of looking at life. On the other hand, maybe that's not the only way to look at it. So cool. People, let's go check out the next poem. This is on page 1004. 1004, people. We are looking at, sorry, 1004, James Tate poem, How the Pope is Chosen. Um, okay, people, this is How the Pope is Chosen, by James Tate. 1004, right? 1004, right? Okay, so here we go. Any poodle under 10 inches high is a toy. Almost always a toy is an imitation of something grown-ups use. Popes with unclipped hair are called corded popes. If a pope's hair is allowed to grow unchecked, it becomes extremely long and twists into long strands that look like ropes. When it is shorter, it is tightly curled. Popes are very intelligent. There are three different sizes. The largest are called standard popes. The medium-sized ones are called miniature popes. I could go on like this. I could say, he is squarely built pope, neat, well-proportioned, with an alert stance and an expression of bright curiosity. But I won't. After a poodle dies at the cardinals flock to the near after a poodle dies, all the cardinals flock to the nearest 7-Eleven. They drink Slurpees until one of them throws up, and then he's the new pope. He is then fully armed and rides through the wilderness alone, day and night, in all kinds of weather. The new pope chooses the name he will use as pope, like Wild Bill or Buffalo Bill. He wears red shoes with a cross embroidered on the front. Most popes are called babe because growing up, a lot of pope, growing up become, oh, I'm sorry. Most popes are called babe because growing up to become a pope is a lot of fun. All the time their bodies are becoming bigger and stranger, but sometimes things happen to make them unhappy. They have to go to the bathroom by themselves, and they spend almost all their time sleeping. Parents seem to be incapable of helping their little popes grow up. Fathers tell them over and over again not to lean out of windows, but the sky is full of them. It looks as if they are just taking it easy, but they are learning something else. What we don't know, what we don't know, because we are not like them. We can't even dress like them. We are like red bugs or mites compared to them. We think we're having a good time cutting cartoons out of the paper, but really we are eating crumbs out of their hands. We are tiny germs that cannot be seen under microscopes. When a pope is ready to come into the world, we try to sing a song, but the words do not fit the music too well. Some of the full-bodied popes are a million times bigger than us. They open their mouths at regular intervals. They are continually grinding up pieces of the cross and spitting them out. Black flies cling to their lips. Once they are elected, they are given a bowl of cream and a puppy clip. Eyebrows are a protection when the pope must plunge through dense underbrush in search of a sheep. Eyebrows are a protection when the pope must plunge through dense underbrush in search of a sheep. Okay, so let's see what Caroline has to say about this. This poem's a lot of fun, am I right? She says, there is just so much to like about this poem. The alternation between popes and poodles is a hilarious statement on popes are essentially show dogs for the entire Catholic religion. They are primped and preened for speaking someone else's words. They don't really make any rules and are just playing games, like the dog. The game just happens to be like a dog show. Also, the surrealism of the poem makes it insane. I can't even imagine the process of writing this poem. It's hard to pick, but my favorite lines are: after a poodle dies, all the cardinals flock to the nearest 7-Eleven. They drink Slurpees till one of them throws up, and then he's the new pope. Poem is really nuts, but it contains some really strong message about organized religion. Yeah, I'm with you. Right, and so like in that line that you like too, right? Throws up. He's the new pope, which seems to me like the part of the deal, right? The relatively random process it seems that takes place to get a pope, which of course I don't really understand, and I'm assuming only people who were really, really interested in church affairs know how that stuff happens. So there's that. I think that this is interesting because we're talking about a pope and a poem, how the pope is chosen. Why is that interesting? Well, because he's comparing it to the popes to poodles and the medium size and the da da da. So I guess we're just not used to the pope being compared to a dog show. Um, I suppose most people expect the Pope to be treated with a little bit more dignity or something like that. Um, and so I guess I just want to point out in this poem the thing that I like about it is the contrast that he draws between the idea that the Pope is exceedingly special and that we are just nothing below the Pope. We are just mites compared to him. Which is to say, I don't believe that. I think that we're all human. Even the Pope is human, and I'm human. Um, but pointing this out is like pointing out something that is right in front of our faces. The fact of the matter is, the Pope is treated as if he is special and different and something entirely different than we are. Um, at any rate, I don't think he is all that different. But I suppose this is one of the things that the poem is calling attention to, right? To what degree do you do? To what degree do you believe that the Pope is special or not? A poem like this would probably bring those feelings out of a person. Okay, so great. Let's do our writing exercise. Um, Caroline has for us to write the strangest, most abstract poem we can muster. Don't think too hard about it. Just write whatever strange comes to mind. Or if people can't and don't want to do that, write a poem about a dog as inspiration. Write a poem with a dog as inspiration. Okay, so people, you're either writing the strangest, most abstract poem that you can muster, or you are writing a poem that is inspired by a dog of some kind. Okay, everybody ready? On your mark, get set, go. Okay, people. I wrote an abstract poem. But one of the things I realized when I was writing this poem is, oh, this is pretty much so how I write all my poems. So to me, this feels like coming home. Uh, I wrote, the moon is a goat, but the goat derives from the goo beneath your new Air Jordans. Perhaps a new sauce is being fermented in Michael Jordan's bowels. Or maybe, like a turtle in breeches, we are all dressed for success, except Tom. That guy is a cross between gravy and a cross made of gravy. Thank you very much, people. Um, those of you with thoughts about the poems or poems that you would like to share, do so in the comment box. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.